Tom Bassel here, and we are going through the best games of 2016, and this is a category that I really feel is important, that is family games. I like games, right? And my top 10 list is a list of fantastic games, but there are games those are not games that everyone's going to play. They're not games that my family would necessarily want to play with me. So here I have 10 great family games that came out in 2016. Whether you want to play these with your own family or not, it's just a family, just you want to get together and play a game that's maybe not too thinky or too strategic, but still offers a lot of really great choices and is a lot of fun. Hopefully these are 10 games you will enjoy. So number 10 is Agricola Family. Yeah, I know it's actually in the title. Now Agricola is a fairly heavy strategic game that a lot of people like about building a farm. So Mayfair this year came out with a family version of it. And I was a little kind of like, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is they made the whole thing very simple. It's mostly about just raising animals, building a farm and raising animals on it a certain number of turns. You're going to be putting out these little worker tokens, your people, to claim different areas on the board, which are going to let you build up a little farm, which can get you animals in various ways to get points at the end of the game. It's simple, it's fun, it's a theme I think people will like because it's fun to kind of watch your farm grow and expand. That's Agricola Family Edition. Number 9 is World's Fair 1893. Hey, yay! It's over a century ago as you kind of go to the World's Fair and you are trying to get different cards in front of you and have tokens that match those by putting on exhibition at a World Fair. But your choice on this one is pretty simple. You're going to be moving a piece around the board and then collecting all the cards at a certain spot. And these cards are going to let you do different things. They're going to, you're trying to collect cards of specific colors, or some cards will give you special abilities. But it's really simple, it's really fast, and you might be trying to collect tickets, which will give you straight up points, or trying to go for the long haul and get points at the end of the game. It's simple, it's beautifully produced. Renegade Games, you can almost never go wrong with them, with their family games. Definitely check it out. Number 8 is Kanagawa. This is from Yellow. This is a gorgeous, beautiful game with beautiful Japanese paintings. And then this game, it has a pretty simple mechanism where you'll be turning cards over and then taking a group of cards. Or you might say, I don't want these cards yet. There's just one card here. I want to take more. But then someone else has a chance to take the cards. And then you'll add 2 and possibly 3 cards to each stack. When you take cards, you're going to decide to use them, which will allow you basically to put cards out into your painting. You're putting a painting of cards out in front of you. And as you put this painting out, you're going to get points for having various things in your painting, whether you have a whole bunch of the same season next to each other or a bunch of different houses. It's a simple, easy game, and yet just has this kind of almost zen quality as you watch this beautiful painting go. But at the same time, there's this a little bit of stress as you're like, do I take these cards? Do I take that one card I really want? Or do I let some more cards come out and then hopefully take the cards I want? Neat, fun, and just really fits that sweet spot in the family game, Kanagawa. Number 7 is Habitats. Habitats is a game in which players are building a zoo. Now, building a zoo is a fun thing anyway. And in this game, you get little porcelain animals that you're going to be moving around throughout tiles. And as they move on a tile, you get the tile and add that tile to your zoo. And most of the tiles have animals on them, which need certain habitats, hence the name of the game. And you need to put those next to other tiles that have those habitats, which will then activate the animal, give you points. But there's other ways to get points by having flowers in your zoo and access roads and tourists coming to your zoo. So there's two halves to the game. One half is moving your animal around and getting the tiles you need. Then the other half is when you get those tiles, putting them in your zoo and making this cool little zoo full of animals and scoring you hopefully enough points to win the game. Very neat game. Really enjoy this one. Habitats from Quali. Number 6 is Fabled Fruit. Now, Fabled Fruit has this Fable system in it, but don't let that really bother you. Fabled Fruit has a bunch of cards out there, and in this game, you have a deck of fruit cards that you are going to be using to win, to make these potions, these fabled potions in the middle of the table. And each fabled potion needs a different combination of fruit. And every time you make a fabled potion, a new one comes out. And the game comes with a gigantic stack of cards, so each time a new potion comes out, there are different requirements, and there are different special abilities that it lets you do. But it's an easy game because just a few of them are coming out at a time. And when you finish the game, you take all the potions that were not yet bought, put them together, and that's the beginning of your next game. So each game is going to be very different until you've gone through all the cards, and then you can start over again. So there's a lot of cool aspects to this, but even though that sounds somewhat complex, it really isn't, because each time a card comes out, it's very obvious what it does. The rulebook talks you through it. There's, some minor changes, but it's just basically go here, collect some fruit cards, turn those fruit cards in for a potion. It's a very simple, fun game that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. Number 5 is World Monuments. Do you want to build the Taj Mahal or other world monuments like the capital of the U.S.? You can do that in this game with a bunch of little blocks, and there's like a floor plan, and together, cooperatively, you're building these. Some blocks are worth points. Some blocks can't be played unless someone else puts a block out there first. So on your turn, you're going to be collecting these blocks from a board, and then once you're done collecting the blocks, you're going to take turn placing them out there, and which is almost like a mini game of chicken. But as you're doing all this, you're watching this building kind of grow. Now, it's not like a one-to-one replica of the building. It's very abstracted out to make the game work, but it still has a 3D feel and look to it, and offers you some neat choices. Which blocks am I going to take? And then when am I going to play a block on the board? Really cool game. This one has not gotten a lot of buzz, and I really think it should. That's World Monuments. Number 4 is another game from Stronghold Games. The first was Fable Fruit. This is Animal Upon Board. Now, the theme of this is kind of silly. You are basically someone else who's building an ark at the same time that Noah is, and Noah made some rule that no one else can have 2 of an animal. So you have to have 1 or 3, 4, or 5 of an animal. So on this turn, there's a bunch of animals, and you are splitting these animals into groups. Or you take a group, and as you split these animals into groups, you're trying to split them to help yourself, but hopefully not help the opponent out too much. Once a group is small enough, you might have enough currency to buy that group and put it in your ark. Once the arks are full, everyone will reveal them and get points. You get points for each animal. But if you have animals that are if you have a pair of animals, they score you nothing. So you want to have 1 of an animal or 3, 4, 5 of an animal. And that I find is really fun and interesting because you're trying to make it so other people get pairs. You might want to grab a group, but if you grab that group, it gives you a pair in this animal. The artwork is really well done. I think this should have been a Spiel des Jahres nominee myself. It is a great game, Animals Upon Board. Number 3 is Junk Art from Pretzel Games. Now, Junk Art is a box full of all different wooden pieces, round pieces and cylinders and all sorts of stuff, and you are going to be building structures and not make them fall down. Now, the thing is, that sounds kind of mundane. Like, oh, I've seen this before. Ballsack and other games have the same idea to them, where it looks like the people went to a craft store, bought a bunch of pieces, brought them home, and made a game out of it. That's true to some degree, but what this game does is, first of all, the pieces are really well thought. They fit together in various ways, and you can build some really neat towers with them. But secondly, each game is different. Sometimes you are building your own tower. Sometimes you guys are all building one communal tower. Sometimes it's a speed game. Sometimes it's a drafting game where I'm giving you 2 pieces, and you pick one to put on your tower, and the other one I have to put on my tower. So it's really interesting because each time you play this stacking game, it's going to feel different. And so lots of fun. That's Junk Art. Number 2 is Ice Cool. Ice Cool is a game about penguins who are in high school. And these penguins, you're flicking them in this game. Now, the penguins have little ball bearings at the bottom of them, so they're plastic penguins. And if you flick them properly, you can spin them through doorways. The box itself is a nesting box where a whole bunch of boxes come out. You attach them together and have this big board. You are trying to go through different doorways to get fish or even jump over walls. If you're good, you can hit these pieces and make them spin and do really cool things. This game is just a blast. Every time I bring it out, people really have fun with it because it's fun to flick the penguins around the corners and jump over walls and do neat things or just, mess up. One person is the hall monitor, and so they're trying to hit the other penguins and catch them. So there's this kind of team versus the monitor, and each turn the hall monitor is going to change, and it's very simple. You're collecting fish cards. At the end of the game, whoever has the most fish wins. And again, this is one of those games I've never seen go over poorly. Number 1 is Imhotep. This is an Egyptian-based game from Cosmos. This one was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. I think it should have won. It is a great family game. And this game, players are building the pyramid or building obelisks or whatever. And you have these building blocks. And on your turn, you are either adding blocks to a boat or you're sailing a boat to one different location, and when the blocks get to that location, you will do various things like build the pyramids, and each location is going to give you points for putting the blocks there in different ways. So on your turn, you have just a few options, adding blocks to a boat, sailing a boat, or taking more blocks and adding them to your pile. That's it. But where you send those boats, or which boat you put your blocks on, or when do you sail a boat? Do you sail a boat that has other people's blocks on to a place they don't want to go to just to mess them up? But then if you do that, you're not helping yourself out. It is entertaining, and it just plays well every time I've seen it. There's also different boards in it, so each game can have a different feel to it. This game is a blast, and I highly recommend it. That's Imhotep. So those are 10 great family games. Certainly check them out this season, this year. Great games from 2016. Watch the rest of our Best of 2016 videos. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.